to be fair. Good evening, everyone. I've got Mr. Thomas Ogden. I've got Mr. Brian Horton. I've got myself, Mr. Brad Chester, the youngest, tallest, flowing locks, best hair in all of 40K. And we've got our stream today, which is Nerf Anna's Votann before it gets out of control. It's a ridiculous menace to the meta. We had a great weekend. You know what? People gave us some shit. I looked in the comments, which I always do, which I never should. And I had what are these guys smoking? It's the, blah, blah, blah. Man, we just had a crazy meta. Leagues of Votann, #1 with a 55% win rate. Dead Gene Stealer Cult, dead, apparently got out of its grave and it popped up a 54% win ratio and won a GT. Dead Eldar, 53%. CSM, 52. Also at 52, my orcs, Wog. Your Black Templars top, 51% over the week. Also 125 games played. We had just a bonkers amount of games played. It was like literally people were running through the streets, ringing the bell. Devastating Wounds and Towering is dead. Go ahead and play 40K again.
I mean, I think that's part of it. You took away some of the boogeyman, and when people are like, "Is it safe to come out from behind the wall?" It is. Yay!
Well, to hit a comment, we have KR in here is saying Custodes at 42%. At least for being Drakari, yeah. At least you're being Drakari because they fell and they fell hard.
Big.
38%.
38, but there's only a few factions that are outside of the nice rate. Imperial Knights, Custodes, Drakari. Grey Knights, which I still think is going to be a learn curve on that because people were bringing them as Custodes Light. I think that the Silver Tide's amazing. Deathwatch has really fallen down, but I also think that Deathwatch fell down because Deathwatch was being propped up in a lot of their win rates by the fact that they're a fantastic team tournament army. And we had a lot of team tournaments, back to back to back to back. And I think that they're amazing when they get to pick their matchups. We did have Gator had a good run on that. Hurdle had a good run at Nova with them also. So he went 7-1. I think that Deathwatch is better than those stats are, but they have some weaknesses. And you're going to have armies like that. You know what I mean? That especially I was saying armies without codices, everyone except for Tyranids. But you're going to have people that have holes that can be exploited by other armies. So I like where we're going with this. What do you guys think about this last weekend? Is it indicative of what we're going to see? We had a lot of games. Like last week we had just a little bit, you know what I mean? We're like, hey, but this week we had, literally thousands of games played.
I think we're obviously moving into a healthier meta. I don't think it's there yet because when you look at it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 codexes that are above 50% or more. But then you just have a vast majority that are losing more than it's winning, right? Like, so we still have a little bit of a power vacuum on the top, we'll say 8 or so, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was a month ago.
I will say that it is actually a very healthy meta. Although there are a very small amount of outliers that are lower than 40, right? There's not a whole lot in that 60 to 70 win rate, which is where it's an unhealthy meta.
Well, there's no 60 or 70.
For the weekend, at least, we had the highest was 55 at Votann. But the thing is that most of us,
immensely healthy.
It's 45 to 55 is where you want it, and that's where the majority of stuff is. And the thing is that it's still fairly hard to balance with just indexes on this. So, to be honest with you,
Custodes dropped. They also dropped immensely in the number of games that were played, right?
100%, because people can't just slam down the 10 guard and just go on it. But I think that Custodes are still alive. I think that they got hit with death by 1,000 cuts. They got a little bit too many things happen to them.
Yeah.
They got points, they got rules, their detachment ability effectively just doesn't work. You know what I mean? And I think that the other thing is I actually still think that Imperial Knights are fine. I think that they still need, I wish they would roll the points back, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
Towering doesn't exist anymore. Like that first set of nerfs for Knights was to combat Towering. Towering doesn't exist. Roll back the points.
Well, I think part of it is because Overwatch got fixed.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
I mean,
can't
that's the
Overwatch.
thing.
Titanic can't Overwatch at all. You can't Overwatch out of line of sight, and you can't, again, Towering's gone. So I think that a lot of those points were reactions to Towering. Just roll them back. I think that they'll be just fine, to be honest with you, because the army actually plays fairly well. You just have to play it a lot different. I think you're going to see a lot different Knight loadouts. You're going to see more little guys out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, and you've seen Chaos Knights won at 50% over the weekend too. 209 games played. Andy coming in with $5 super chat. $5 to make Brad dunk on Eldari Brightlands spam list instead of hating on his people. Well, my people, my short to the growl, my dwarves. But the Brightlands, as we said before when we had it, Sean and I, we got a wild Crowley enters the fray.
I blumped Tom like
He's
I
back.
normally do.
Hold on, I gotta bump the Emperor out of here so we can see Tom. Hold. It's not even the Emperor. I keep calling him the Emperor, but
He
it's
just
Abaddon.
messaged me a minute ago. He's like, "Yeah, my work call's over, and I went a little bit late, so it's probably too late to jump in." I was like, "Nah, jump on in. We miss you."
Let's do this. A wild Crowley has entered the fray. But it's a big thing on this. I think that we were talking about it, and it's funny. I'm going to give you props. I was just about to give you props. You showed up out of nowhere. You literally stopped me.
My ears were burning.
Yeah. No, we were talking about Dari, and it was like, you should shit on your bright lances instead of your, talking about your Votann, my peoples, my short peeps. But the biggest thing on that is like when they put the nerfs out, Crowley literally goes, so that means that Eldari's number one, just not without a Wraith Knight anymore. And I go, I don't know about that, man. And then I immediately made a list and I sent it over to Rice and went, yeah, this is totally like the greatest army out there still. So yeah.
I still disagree with you guys. I think Tau beats Aldari.
So I agree with you that Tom, that actually Tau beats Eldari. I think that Tau have a couple of other bad matchups that hold them back, whereas Eldar has a 50-50 into Tau. So
Right. You give me Tau in this edition with the current
I'm sorry.
state.
yes,
Well, okay,
but not everybody
Tom.
is Tau.
We're like Tom Tau, Tom Tau is 100% versus everyone, but everybody else playing Tau versus Eldar. It's a coin flipper.
We went to a team event one time, and it was me, PJ, Elliot, TJ Lanigan, and Brad. And they gave us this matrix, and they're like, all right, guys, we need you to fill out how you feel about all your matchups. Green thinks you do really well. Means it can go either way. Red is you don't want to play it. And then we had our first team call, and TJ chewed me out like, Tom, you can't be serious. I'm like, well, he's like, you put green for everything. I said, yep.
He's like, is there something beyond green? I would put it in. When I was getting ready to do pairings and stuff, we just went, on this. Tom's like, I would destroy this. And I'm like, all right, Tom, you're out of here. Everybody else that's not going to destroy everything, what do you guys think for these matchups? So, speaking of that, we got to give props. PJ won the Armed Forces Open.
Yeah.
Out of there.
And he won like a sweet-ass
shield. They made it now. I'm so upset. I won that a year or two ago, and they had it. You took a picture with it, but that it was the event kept it. Now they've got a couple of the veterans that are metal workers. They've made shields for the overall winners, and they are awesome looking. I was like, if I knew that, I would have came and crushed you, pajamas. But well done. Smashed it with CSM. Killed it all weekend. So proud of him. As usual, he made his army the day before the event, cast the whole thing, and painted it that night because he's an insane person. It's
I was
very,
watching some
The
props.
event I was at this weekend that I helped judge called the Rock Hard GT, a little thing in Rochester, New York. CSM won that as well. Actually, it was a good event. A lot of variety of armies. A couple, I expected to see like 5 or 6 Eldar, and we really only saw one, which was pretty interesting. As people were like, "Yeah, we just wanted to try other things." And it was interesting. It was a good time.
and I love that. I have to say this one out. One, Mike, you are 100% right to leave the Riptides and take the Norns, because even the Tau don't want the Riptides right now. And Anna was explaining the Tau combat philosophies. Mon-Ka, the killing blow. Kayan, the patient hunter. And the Ogden, the oppressive ion rain.
There we go.
I think the really interesting part, and this is going to be contrary to the way that Tom plays. So anything I say is for the average Tau player, not somebody who Tomabungas all over their opponent's face on turn one.
Amabunga.
But if you're playing at Tau right now, your matchup into Eldar is really good because you're not vulnerable to their trash clearing stuff out, and they can't really get easy shot lanes on you with your crisis. And it makes this really interesting dynamic of cat and mouse until you ready to engage with your 18-inch advance, and just shoot the Tomabunga all over their face on turn 3 or 4 like a normal person.
Captain Kayan on 2 is a hell of a drug.
Right. If you can get a good line on it, then do it. Right. But it doesn't. You're put the way Eldar plays currently. The onus isn't on you to play the game. The onus is on your opponent, because you can just literally table them without them getting to interact with you at any point, right? But Tau can slow the game down and play in this contrary style back at them, right? That's why I think the Tiger Shark is a good call too, because it lets you remove one of their key threat vectors, right? Because the 2 big threat vectors are either Fire of Prisms, Lances, or the Incarn. It can reliably pick up one of those pieces, especially if you can get something in there to give it guided. And I think that that's a really good piece, especially on like GW terrain, because if you can pull the Incarn before they use that bomb, then the Eldar player's now on the back foot because their threat projection is down.
I think that there's a lot of lists that are viable for Tau right now. I dig
Yeah.
it. Tom and I have been going back and forth. We're looking forward to Michigan GT, and I've been coin flipping whether I'm going to Orcs or Tau. And broadsides came into the mix. You know what I mean? Different things. There's a lot of damage that a lot of those points went down. It's just the points coming down was such a good thing because it made so many things viable.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that like me and Brad made our list. It was like really proud of me at first when I got back on the Tau train. It sounds like making like some good crisis bricks with a lot of trash. And Brad's like, yes, he's finally getting it. He's playing trash. And then every like 15 minutes later, I sent a new list to him. So modified, less trash and more crisis suits. Eventually, almost all the trash is out, and it was all crisis suits for days again.
He's just like, I have some trash. It's called piranhas. I kept those in there.
And my stealth suits. And that trash. I have a 3-man crisis brick to throw out your use with a Cold Star Commander. That's my trash.
I'm going to go to the wall real quick on this. One, don't spinners make crisis suits sad? Not really. And the thing is it's really hard for the spinners to stay hidden from the Tau because of the fact of reserves, deep strikes, and the fact that they just have long range from things like Sky Rays. I'm going to go to the Canadian Big Mac. Hey, guys. Squawking about the dataslate. What do you think of the Imperial Guard Baneblade? It has a purpose now that 85% of stratagems and that orders can't be given to them besides from Lord Solar. It is tough on that. I think that in trying to balance some of the thing, you're basically getting collateral damage, which I think Sisters players are really used to, because I think from 8th to 9th, Sisters got nerfed the most when they didn't get nerfed. The nerf was never towards them. They were always standing next to the guy that got nerfed. Come on, man. Wow, coming in with a $5 super chat. Thanks for the show tonight, gentlemen. Hope everyone is having a great Monday. I mean, not Crowley.
I'm glad that I came back to enjoy this wonderful homecoming back from
Welcome back, bro. We're glad to have you.
I will say that one of the coolest things that I've found so far with 2 single-man broadsides is coming off, one of them spotting for the other with the 1 CP strat. And basically it creates this nightmare for Eldar of you can't hide that many vehicles behind that L in the corner.
That's big
like,
damage,
there is
too.
not enough room.
Especially when you're looking at coming out during Kion at that point in time. You know what I mean? Those are big damage weapons coming at you from the rail rifles. You know what I mean? So you walking on, and you can almost always get on that one model, that one base. You know what I mean? It's very hard to stop those angles from happening, especially
All right,
later
super chat.
game. Matt O with the super chat.
Matt out.
Are Marine players ready for the nerf codex? Is Brandon mentally ready? Also, OSU got lucky and you know it. Irish will rise again. Total domination by the Buckeyes, never in doubt. Not even a chance. I mean, we ran away with that game. It was ridiculous. Also,
And it was no Miami game, but sure.
You guys probably could have stopped us if you would have put 11 men on the field instead of 10, which is how many people you had for the last 2 plays. That's a real thing, by the way.
I just, to go back to what I said a second ago about the Eldar versus Tau matchup, it's just, spinners can make Crisis Suits day bad, but if Tau go first, you're not getting them off. Not to mention, if they even go second, they're going to have so many things in reserve against you that you can't hide the angles. So, like, Breton played 3 prisms, 2 spinners, and the Incarn and a couple other things.
You're just too fast. You can always you can always see something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got the first turn, and he realized that no matter which way he stacked, he couldn't hide everything. So, at the very least, he's giving me 3 things to shoot. Because that's, you look at the footprint of the models and the the 12x6, you can't hide everything out of view, and Tau have the speed, and then they have a bazillion things coming out of reserve as well. Don't forget, so Tau brings speed and guns.
Going to the wall for Kyle. If your main army got smacked and you're looking to start a new army for the rest of the season.
Already typed it in.
Yeah. I honestly don't think that you switch this early in the season, right? I think that we're going to see more points adjustments based upon what's top performing in December, and not enough of the meta currently has formed to the point where
Well, don't forget, we're going to get AdMech in November, and we'll get Necrons in December, right?
Tau in January/February.
Well, you're going to start seeing when the codexes pick up again, it really changes the meta especially early. Like a new codex always changes the meta, but when we have a new edition, every time a codex comes out, it's a huge deal because you get that.
And I think there's hobby lag on the Tyranid Codex right now.
No. The Tyranid Codex is playing a game in which it's going to pick its side of the table and it's going to use very cheeky things to score. It does that really effectively, but against a player that knows what your plan is, it's not going to work. It is an excellent X and 1 codex, and that's exactly what it's showing itself to be right now.
I think that you have to change your tactics, though. I think that especially if you're playing GW Train, for instance, I think that Tyranids do an excellent job of flanking. You have to hard flank left and right. I think that too many people are pushing too much. You know what I mean? You really have to flank that army and use and this is specific to GW Train, but you can go on both edges, and it's a big deal. Tau play like that a lot too. They utilize that super well. I just think that they have enough. I do love the Noah's Ark type thing on that. So it's a big deal.
Tau is durable, however.
So two things I want to say real quick. One, to get in the comments, I was coughing out a lung, so I didn't get a chance to answer when he asked the question. It depends on the mentality you're coming from. If you're looking as a casual player, don't switch from your army. Have fun with it. Go X and 1. Potentially be the underdog and win the tournament. But if you're like a tournament player trying to take the season serious, I wouldn't say switch from your army, but you should always have 2 armies that you can rotate between when the meta changes, that you can flip-flop between. It's very hard to go an entire season and not have another army you play. That's like rare. Like, I think on all the years I've been playing 40K, last year was the first year I ever went 1 year playing just 1 codex. And I got lucky because Tau went unnoticed for like 5 months because there was other bigger boogeymen out, even though Tau was just as good as them. So I got super lucky there. Yeah. Second thing I want to say is, like, I think Tyranids are actually in a really good spot. I disagree with their X and 1 codex. I played a game against Monic and his army at the GT went to 2 weeks ago, right, Brad?
Yeah, they have so many tools. I just think that army it's really going to be player based on that. You can't roll. Nothing in that book just rolls over people, but it has all of the tools to win games.
Yeah, he should have probably won the game, but he put 5 Zoes and a Hive Tyrant into a Skyray, and my Skyray's like, no, I'm not gonna die. and it was a big swing in the game. So like, they had me on the ropes for a minute there. Like, it's a good codex, very good in my opinion.
I do love the fact that Zoob's called out. He's like, Horton has yet to beat me with the new Tyranid Codex. Proof that it's D tier. I mean, also we haven't played yet.
Legitimately, like fully legitimately, always pick your army first based upon something you like aesthetically, right?
It's got to be
That
fun.
meets a play style that you enjoy playing, right? So if you don't like shooting, don't play Tau, right? But if you really like
Yeah,
melee,
they got Farsight. All right.
One guy.
well, if you could play a whole army of Farsight, that would be great. But legitimately,
That would be a good
the-
army, man. 90 points apiece. I'd take a shit ton of Farsights.
right. But the like, for instance, when we're talking about this, like somebody talking about like my main army is not in a good spot right now, there's a lot of information that needs to go into it, right? I was going off of thinking about it from Kyle's perspective, right? But just play the game for fun. The rest of it comes later. You play it for long enough and you'll eventually own every single dang army anyway.
I do. The thing is I do like, and I encourage.
that is not an incorrect statement.
True story, yeah. But the thing is that I do like, and I bounce around all over the place, so, but I do encourage people to have another army because it gives you another feel for how other armies work, though, too. Like, I like to have, if you're, especially if you're a painter, you know, and you're model slowly, I like to, I encourage people to have 2 different projects going at the same time, especially if you have your tournament list and then you have that thing that you play with friends as you go. So it also just helps you understand the game more. 100%, especially if you have 2 different factions that have wildly different play styles. It's a big deal. Why not?
I have a few armies I plan on playing for the next couple months. I'm gonna have, obviously Tau with their crisis suits, and then a Tau version with a little bit less crisis suits, and then another Tau with more crisis suits. So that's the 3 armies I plan on playing for the next couple months.
Crowley, you were muted for that.
Oh God.
I'm really tempted to play the dwarves and show Tom a really good time.
I think dwarves got
Yeah,
some
we like
interesting play.
show me a really good time. Are we gonna like hook up in the bathroom or what's going on here? It seems
It can be both, man. It
My
can be both.
mind's telling me no.
We have multiple hours in that game. We both know that it's not going to take 3 for us to finish on the table.
oh no.
Ooh, going double Norn and Harridan. Harridan's so expensive.
Oh, so expensive.
Such a good shooting.
Yeah, Todd goes, Brad forced me to play Nids. He's such a bully. He's like, what should I play? I'm like, this would be good. You evil man.
So even with looking at the meta, right? If we look at the Meta Monday data that he's got there,
By the way,
it's
bless
very
that man's
fast.
soul. That
Yeah.
dude put so much work. The Meta Monday guy. What is it? Was it GSMC? I think Meta Monday.
Jesus, Lyle. Lyle coming in the $5 super chat. Brad has been playing since before Jesus got dirt on his sandals. How many armies does
Oh,
Brad
man.
own?
When you consider the
GCMS Meta Monday. Sometimes he pops in the chat. If you guys see him, just think that man. That man puts so much work in every single week.
100%.
And
Absolutely fantastic.
it's we use his data every Monday.
Every Monday.
Every Monday, like for like the first 10 minutes before we go live, we get on the call before we go live. We bullshit for a few minutes, and then Brad's like, "All right, guys, pull up the Meta Monday. Let's go over and review it. Make sure we know what we're talking about." And then he has to educate us because me and Brian decided not to read the stuff early, and Brad goes up and says, "All right, guys,
Dude.
you know this, and this."
I literally do. That is the beginning of all the calls Monday before we go live is, I'm going to talk about this stuff, guys. Here's what I'm going to be talking about.
Maybe because that we are working all day on Monday from like 8 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. Couldn't have anything to do with
That's
that.
true. He said that me and you have jobs, and Brian doesn't. So
I didn't say that.
Oh,
So the-
man. It's hurtful
KR
talk.
KR brings up an interesting point that I like to touch on. I think you learn a lot more when your army sucks and you have to figure out to squeeze out points. I agree. When I'm answering that question, though, I'm answering from somebody who's trying to play on a competitive level and go like undefeated at like a large GT/major, right? There's nothing some armies can do to be able to overcome unless there's a significant skill disparity in your end.
It's semi though, but I think you can play a lot into it. I've been playing with a lot of armies that have the ability to play against anything, but they're not favored, and it makes it more exciting.
I agree.
Says the guy who played Drukari.
I think if you get to the point with your faction where you know everything your faction does, and your faction is just really suffering and you can't squeeze any more points out of it, by all means, try something else. Pick up something that's the opposite of what you're doing. Don't pick up another Marine army to try, because you're kind of limiting yourself to the same play style and the same everything else. If you are a, Tau player, and Tau's in a bad spot, which it's not right now, I'm just using this hypothetically, and you are all about a shooty, army, but man, every time you show up, world leaders are just wrecking the world. Try them out. See if there's something that you would enjoy about it. Yep. Give it a go. Try and play something that's different outside your comfort zone a little bit, and not the same style army as what you're currently playing.
100%.
I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to convince them to not play their armies. I want people to play their armies and have a good time, right? I also don't want to be quoted saying that, yes, if you're playing Sisters, you're definitely going to be able to beat your local Eldar player 10 times out of 10 either, right?
I'm on the thing they should just have multiple armies if you're going to take it like a series. If you're a casual player, rule cool. Every day, baby boy. Play your rule cool, play your army, have fun. Or baby girl, if you're a girl playing a game. But, for those who are actually playing for ITC points, have one or two armies, because you're going to choose which army to play based off what terrain they're playing, what missions if they revealed them, what the current meta is like. There's a lot of factors in what you're deciding what you're going to play. I mean, Brad's always factoring stuff in, and that's why Brad wins a crap ton of events, because Brad's, he's many tricks up that man's sleeve. Play any army.
I want to go to 1+ Saves made a good point, and a lot of times when I'm talking about this, he says, just try a new army is kind of a tough sell with the level of hobby and financial investment they take. I agreed on that. And a lot of times when I'm saying try something, it's not try something built, painted, everything else. Proxy, TTS. I love to put new stuff on the table to get a feel for how I would play against it, but also it gives you a change in pace. You know what I mean? 100%, this hobby is wildly expensive. So yes, but most of the time I'm talking about that is pick up, practice, TTS type things.
And one of the things I can never stress enough, and this is a big thing with it, especially with being clubs, right? Brad probably borrows 85% of his armies, right? We're in no disagreement on 85 might be a low number.
Might be a low number.
Right? But if you have a buddy who has 2 armies and you have 2 armies and the other guy has 2 armies and they're all different, you guys have 6 armies to pool from to try out. If the 3 of you travel to events, pretty sure out of those 6, 3 of them are going to be halfway decent and usable, and you can do something with them at an event. It also gives you that on a weekend when you guys get together on a Saturday morning and throw on, the TV or throw on battle reports or throw on football or whatever and sit around all day and have some beverages, you can try and play 6 different armies against each other and get some feels for stuff. It's one of the nicest parts about clubs and communities. Build it, work together, talk about stuff, get together with buddies. A lot of times, your hobby store probably has 87 events going on the weekends. If they don't have a miniatures event going on and you don't have a table and, you don't have terrain at home, talk to your local store and say, hey, can we come in and borrow terrain at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning? We'll bring it back at 8 o'clock at night. You'd be surprised how many game store owners that you support and give your good hard-earned money to will be like, yeah, just make sure you have it back for, that evening or whatever. Or if you're in an area where there's a great TO, that TO might say, hey, we want to sit around and play test all weekend. And that TO might go, I'll bring over terrain if I can come and play some games with you guys. And you might end up having an amazing weekend. So never be afraid to get together and do stuff.
Also, Anna made a great point here. Borrowhammer is a great reason to join a team, a great way to practice to play each other's stuff, and a great way to enjoy an event to let each other rock your unused stuff. I support that so much. And it's funny because
also, I like to get on this. I'm sorry, I apologize if I interrupt you, Brad, because I had a 2-year-old tantrum, so I had to mute and turn off the camera for a second. But it is a big investment if you buy it brand new. There are tons of secondhand chats out there, groups, Borrowhammer. There is ways to minimize the cost, but and Brad just said it, so I kind of wanted to go with this before we went too far. And I believe Anna said it as well. join a community. Like, doesn't have to be a team, doesn't have to be a competitive team. Find friends. That's what we're in this hobby for, right? Find friends, borrow models.
I was like, best way I can put this. I'm in Syracuse, New York. Brad's in Toledo, Ohio. Tom's in Michigan. Crowley's in Kentucky, right?
No, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Sorry. We are friends from around the country because we just got involved together through Death or Glory.
Yeah.
Right? But we met by going to these big events. And when you go to these big events, don't just hang out with your ancillary 2 friends you came with. Go socialize, talk to somebody. An opponent that you played that was awesome, take 10 minutes to go, hey, I'd love to meet the rest of the guys you came with.
Yeah.
Oops.
Like,
chit chat.
Make friends that are not just 40K friends. Make real friends. Like, Brad's my boy for years now. Brian's been my boy, and so is Crowley for a couple years now, right? Like, but I don't consider like Crowley, Brian, Brad, Brenton, Anna, tons of people, Lyle. I mean, I can keep going on. They're not my 40K friends anymore. They're my actual friends. Like, we will do things outside of just 40K.
Yeah.
But when you have a community you belong to, and like, for example, we went to Nova, and Brad vetoed me the week before because I was going to take Tau to Nova, and he's like, nope, you're not taking Tau. They're not good enough. You don't know the meta well enough. You're taking Eldar. He made one chat in our group chat, and I had like 4 people volunteer an army to send to him for I could take to Nova because I was picking them up. So I had like an army that was packed for me and painted well and ready to go. And like that's the joy of being in a community. Like, and there's so many out there. Like, I see so many like awesome communities that build up. And they don't have to be massive. Like Anna runs Valkyrie Gaming. They're not a big team / community, but that's a family. They will help each other through and through. And there's tons. XPZ from West Coast, which are starting to branch out to East Coast now. Like, Death of Glory, there's tons of stuff out there. Frozen North, like, anywhere you go, you can find a community.
Look, if you are an introvert and you are going to your first big tournament, or you go to big tournaments and you're having a time reaching out, okay? I'm gonna plug someone, and he better not get a big head over this. Go to Salt City. Go and just sit in the hallway after the tournament, and you will learn everything that you need to learn about after-hours wargaming and having a good time. I cannot. No. This is the peak of. I want to learn how to be included when I talk to other people and humanize other people. That is literally the best after-party gaming community I have ever seen. At
join
any
the circle. Literally, just join.
That's all you got to do.
Well,
just walk up.
That is crazy.
Brad
will be drunk enough. He'll beckon you in. Don't worry. You won't be able to escape.
Brad, how many tournaments have we been to where me and you're just hammered? And then we find some introvert sitting by himself in a corner. I'm like, no,
you're with us. And we take it with us. We've adopted so many people that are team members, actually, that we've done that too.
Yeah, I was at LCL by himself, and you could just tell he wanted to hang out with people. I'm not going to say his name because he's actually part of our community now. But this is how we became friends. I walked up to him drunk at LVO, and I said, listen, pick your shit up and come to our table.
You're with us now.
Like,
okay.
Come to our table because you're by yourself, and you're not supposed to do that. Get over and hang out with us. And that was 2 years ago, and that person's like really big in our community now, and that's how I met someone. Like,
heck, we adopted the D-Sons player from Salt City. He was a really good kid, awesome, like great to hang out with. Yep. We adopted him. He came to Nova with us. We got second at the team tournament, and he went like 5-2 individually. Oh man, I was in proud coach moments at that moment.
Oh my god!
The thing is, on the flip side, if you're in a community or a team and you see people by themselves, invite them in. Sometimes people don't know how to ask or are afraid to just take that step. Help them take that step. Get them in your community. Get to meet them and stuff. Like, and you meet so many people from different walks of life that will just make you a better person, in my opinion. Like, there's so many teams out there that before 40K I might have not agreed with politically, but now I love them. Like, they're awesome.
You make excellent points. Come to Salt City after hours, shower and wear deodorant. There you go. It works out.
The one thing that I did at Salt City that a lot of, and Brad's going to probably attest to this, it was a great idea, I'm so happy that I did it.
I already know what you're talking about, and I'm super excited about it.
Friday, we did 3 rounds. Friday was like, the go hard day. On Saturday, we did 2. On Sunday, we did 2. On Saturday, we had a nice guy called Tim Bumpus, who was absolutely fantastic, and I'll thank him forever, set up a board game night where there was lots of board games and everything. The room was open for anyone who wanted to test play, try things out. And then from 5 o'clock-ish on until drunken pass-out time, We hung out in the hallway area until probably, I don't know, 1 or 2 in the
That
morning.
was
And
fantastic. Best night
it
of
was just a
the
time.
literally best night of the event. I don't go to the events for the game. I go to the events for social interactions on that. I want to hang out. I want to talk to my friends. But like, and the thing is that we end up talking about the game while we're hanging out anyways. It's like it's the glue that starts your friendships on, and I just have a great time. The thing is that if you haven't been to a decent amount of tournaments or you haven't been to a tournament, go and don't worry about it. It's mostly people that are just looking to have a great time. Most of the community is great. There's crazy people everywhere, but there's mostly just a lot of people that want to have a good time. They want to move around their toy soldiers, and they want to talk about moving around their toy soldiers afterwards. So it's just it's fun.
Well, we're talking about community real quick, so we're at a halfway point in the show. Got nearly 60 people watching us live. Give us some likes. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed if you don't mind. It helps out a lot.
Hugely.
You know,
the likes actually make a big difference, by the way.
Yes,
in the metrics.
the likes make a tremendous difference. Also, if you're watching, jump in the chat. For one, it helps us out analytically, and two, more importantly, we love when you guys converse with us. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we will try to read every single comment, not just the super chat. Super chats always get the priority just because, duh. But that's all I gotta say about that. But we try to read every comment. We try to get you guys involved. We absolutely love it, and we're so big on the community that we will bring some of you guys randomly on some of our shows, like on the Thursday. Sometimes
Thursday, I love to interact with people if people want to talk about things. Thursday's a free for all, 100%.
Oh yeah. But so give us those likes, comment in there if you haven't. More likes, absolutely, please, James, and more comments. We love it. And then also, if you guys want us to talk about specific topics, bring it up in chat. There's the man. Hold on 1 second. JCMS Meta Monday is in chat. I was just talking about you earlier. I'll send everyone. I don't know if you know this, bro. We use your stats every
week. I
Every
want to
Monday.
go to two things. I want to go to his thing, but I also want to go real quick on the. Basically, I've got a.
Hold on. No. Everyone, tell JCMS Meta Monday thank you, because that man's a saint. Does so much work. Doesn't get enough credit. We appreciate you. Now go, Brad. Sorry.
One of the quotes
we owe it to him to answer his questions.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go to the one first, because it's a quick one. What basically was like, is there enough trash in a Oops All Suits type list for crisis suits? And 100% you can play crisis suits. The list that Tom and I are working on has huge amounts of crisis suits, and mine has a bunch of trash. Tom says he's more guns. He was like, what happens if I mount lances with cannons on top of crewdowns? But why is Votann doing so well? Guard tank spam is doing better than artillery spam. Why? Votann's doing so well because the combination of putting double judgment tokens on 4 things at the beginning of the game is something that is super powerful. You just have to be very, very meticulous about what things actually need it right away, and other things that you're gonna have to use those. And the thing is that they got more stuff. Their firepower, it's still an army that can bang. So I think that was the combination of those two was fantastic. Why is tank spam doing better than artillery spam? I don't know. I don't understand how. I think that it for me, I feel that artillery spam is terrifying, and it takes care of so many top armies and just bumps them. So that one I don't know.
A lot of people with
Also,
artillery spam have been having problems with target priority, and they're learning as they go. As that army becomes a little more prevalent and they get some more practice with it, they're going to get that down better.
Also, you got to think in mind that devastating wound nerf also helps Votann, because one of the things you can get through, because Votann has surprisingly good durability, but if you could just spam, oh yeah,
What are you smoking?
They have surprisingly good durability.
What has surprisingly good durability?
The
Terminators I'll grant you, but Votann as a whole is not surprising. That's like saying Eldar has surprisingly good durability because their tanks don't suck, but I mean...
their land fortresses are literally durable as hell. They're hard to get through. Their basic troops, I think they're better than most basic troops in durability. I think they're surprisingly durable.
What makes them surprisingly durable? What makes them better than other troops in durability?
I
Name one
I
thing.
don't like their troops. They've got more. They got more stuff. I love Thunderkin, by the way. Pew pew.
Thunderkin are
Thank
amazing.
you.
I actually think Thunderkin. I think now that the Sagittars are actually getting to the point where you can buy them again, because I've seen them in stock a few times recently, is gonna help Votann out number one, because a lot of players didn't have them. And I think as people are starting to learn the nuances of 10th edition, right, to learn that strategic reserve is actually a very important mechanic for them. Finding little tricks and finding out how, hey, look, I've played enough games now. I understand how to score this thing. Oh, for me, fixed objectives are way better than doing, the tactical objectives. And I think that's what we're finding out with Votann is all that stuff. Is people are starting to use the tools at their disposal.
No, the thing that's making Votann do really good now is the fact that they can target 4 things before the game starts instead of I think it was 1 or 2 before, and they can actually get their CP, and they have bonkers strats. Like when you have CT turning, that's the whole thing.
We're getting back to durability. You wanted to challenge on, like, you put those big ass tanks in the middle of the board. Not many things can remove those quite easily. And they have a surprisingly good firepower. Their Terminators are hard to remove.
Tom, you would have absolutely no problem removing one of those tanks from the center of the board.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. That's what I'm saying. I you know why? You do what I do. More trash. Trash plus artillery. So much trash.
Unless I'm guiding something that has marker lights, they're going to have a 2-up save against my CIBs, and I'm wounding them on 5.
Please don't pretend like you're ever going to shoot something of the 2-up save in the center of the table and you're not going to have it guided with a marker light.
I mean, the things that have marker lights are not durable. They're easy to remove. I get 1 turn with them.
You mean
even if I have, so fine. So yeah, Tetris. So even if I have them, right? Even if I have them, they have a 3-up save against me, and I'm wounding on 5s.
I'd like to play against you with Votann, with you playing Tau, and just see how that goes. Because I'm actually curious what the
skill level is drastically in my favor, so it doesn't matter at that point, right? I'm just kidding.
It's funny because Tom always says that. I'm like, Tom, you should play around, let this really durable thing live. And he's always like, you said the wrong words, bro. I'm going to kill that right now.
To tell the story, we're at a GT. This was like in 9th edition when Soneshi had that Terminator bomb that was like transit, -1 to hit somehow, no rerolls, -1 to wound, all the buffs in the world. And I'm like half drunk, and Brad's like, Tom, he's giving me the game plan. And I'm like, listen to him. He's like, Tom, on our friendship, just pay attention. I'm like, all right. He's like, listen, you're going to do this, this, and this. He's going to go to the center of the board, let him have it, just go around, kill everything else, win the game easily. Ignore it. I'm like, okay, I got you. I'm ignore it. He's like, Tom, don't get goaded. I'm like, I'm going to ignore it. Don't worry. We're playing the game. And our teammate Minik's like, by the way, Tom, you can't kill this Terminator break. Guaranteed. I was like, son of a bitch. That thing is dying this turn. Brad's in the game next to us. Like, no. I'm like, no, it's dying right now. And I killed it.
Lyle with the super chat. Tau Farsight with a 6-man fusion brick.
They brought this up in a couple of the Tau chats, saying that to maximize Farsight, you're already going to be right up on top of somebody, and picking up the big stuff with that +1 to wound, and using a Tau fusion brick. I don't know, because you have to get like really up close and personal, 9 inches on that, but that does again trigger the fusion. So you're doing big damage. But you are super close. Like
the problem if you're going into a big target though, right? If you're going into a big target, you want to split fire to be able to hit multiple big targets if you're getting that close. And it's like, but Tau really doesn't want to split fire now, which creates that problem.
Well, the thing is, you can split fire, you just can't guide and split fire.
Well, yes, but guide is a hell of a drug when you have double explosions, sir.
Yeah, but I see there's a lot of times when people get shocked because I won't sometimes guide. Yeah. Like, no, I'm not guiding. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm split firing.
Yep.
So it just comes down.
Bring more trash in your orcs, and it helps a lot. It really does.
No Farsight if you're playing at the London GT.
London GT's got some wildly open. Okay, so they changed the UKTC terrain significantly since the last. Also, if somebody could send me the update, I cannot find it on TTS, and it's driving me crazy. Skill check, $2 super chat. DG goated.
So a couple things real quick. Nathan, I am happy that I revived your excitement to play Tau. I'm excited to play Tau again. And the funny thing is, Brad was just talking about this a couple weeks ago. He's like, when you first came back and you're playing Eldar, I was really pissed off because like you weren't back, Tom. You could just tell you weren't having fun. You didn't like you were just
Ghost
showing
of
yourself.
Tom Past.
The Ghost of Tom Past called. The moment Tau was relevant again, I was back. It's like I went to an event with Tau. He's like, yep, this is the time I miss. This is the time I want. So I'm glad that we're both excited to be back playing Tau. I love Tau. Such a beautiful army. And the second thing is, I'm just gonna say, oh, I lost the chat, so never mind. My bad on that one.
But I've been talking to some people that are going to that event, and a couple of their boards, especially like when you're looking at round 3,
Yeah.
oh man, it is bonkers open. It looks like they just had like 2 pieces of terrain and they just went, nah, and just they took them off. It is wild open. And I don't know if they're doing that because they're trying, because they're only playing 5 games before they have their Shadowrun cut, and then they have their, final cut going into Monday. But they really have an aggressive meta in England because of the fact that they have these huge tournaments and they cut after 5 games. So people have to put up some huge scores, and this terrain is significant. They've always had really long firing lanes, but they usually have really good cover. And in most of their missions, they have really good cover, to be perfectly honest with you. But in 2 of their missions, they are wildly open. I think it's 3 and 5. Yes.
The last round is wild too.
Yes. The final, yes. But mission 3 and mission 5 are just like, hey man, you got enough damage to put people down? Because you can't hide. You can stay at your home base, and that's about it. Whoo! Yeah, Matto, it was. LGD was famous for being Planet Bowling Ball in the beginning. Zach did a great job of getting new stuff. I have to give him full props on this, because they went from Planet Bowling Ball to a really good terrain set. It was a little bit different because they did have those long firing arcs, but they had places to hide behind it. This one, man, there is, like I said, 2 of the missions are just, I hope you kill your opponent because you're definitely not going anywhere to hide. Dude, round 3 is bonkers. They're playing hidden supplies, priority targets. 4 of the objectives are just in the open. You're just like, well, I hope you brought the guns because you're not doing any tricks here.
Could you imagine being an army like Drukari playing like mission 3?
Man, no. I practiced this against Sean a couple of times to see if I could actually make Chaos Knights work. And then when we got to practicing that, I was like, no.
Second against Tau.
Well, you could on missions 1, 2, and 4.
Yes.
But then you have to play 3 and 5, and you're like, hey,
So you think you're gonna see some weird skewed lists from that where like it's just massive hordes?
I was going through some of the lists, and some of the lists are absolutely bananas at that event.
Yeah,
like, I have no idea.
They have to skew pretty hard.
KTC. They always have skewed lists over there.
Well, because they have to score so big. You have to throw down hundreds to get to make that cut. So you either have people that are taking just wild swarm and different things, or just wild aggression, like just crazy get up on top of you list, or they're taking every single gun in the universe and just like, I'm going to kill you in 2 turns.
You are in a bad way if you are not scoring hundos.
You look at Meta Monday, like you just said, a minimum of 22 players will go 5-0.
Yep. Yeah, that's why I'm just saying you have to put up giant scores, because even their shadow round doesn't cut to hardly anybody. So
also Nathan, that's not even a competition. Sky Rays always beat out Ghost Kills.
Yeah.
It's like,
what are you smoking?
Oh,
what
Sky Rays are amazing, dude. Full rerolls versus things that fly 48 inches and
Crisis, it goes Crisis Suits, Cold Star Commander on same tier.
We're agreed.
Below that, then Sky Rays, and then the rest of the stuff.
No, you're far off. This is what I should expect from somebody who hates Tiger Sharks, which is like the next thing on that list. Tiger Sharks.
I'm not. Tiger Sharks are not worth it.
What?
Maybe
How in the world do you think a Skyray is worth it and a Tiger Shark isn't?
Because have you seen the fly rules? You can
flyer.
What?
One's a flyer, one's not.
You can only move straight and then turn. So if
I don't need to. It's going to come down and blow up 2 things and die, just like your Skyray will only blow up 1 thing and then die.
Fine. Even if you're correct on that and you kill 2 things and I kill 1 thing, I still were more efficient at 130 instead of 275. I beat you by 15 points efficiency.
Yes, but then your other one kills 1 thing and then dies, and it's the same thing. And mine has a 5-up invuln, so it actually might live.
It's not living.
Listen.
It's that you said it might live to Tom. He's like, I will kill that imaginary thing right now.
I'm gonna kill it in Overwatch.
You won't have anything to kill it in Overwatch because
like, I'm
it'll be
coming on
dead.
the board. I'm like, Overwatch, it's dead. Remove that trash.
I'm gonna prove you wrong about the tiger shark.
Prove me wrong.
Okay,
Prove me
I
wrong,
will.
please.
Even if you're correct, you're wrong. I love it. Super. I love it.
Everyone, I just threw up our Discord for DOG in here. Anybody that's not a member of it, I really encourage people to join. If you're looking to talk about things, if you're looking to learn about, just enjoy the community, it's a great time. It is super active too, and there's channels for everyone.
Mute it. Just mute it. It's super active. But it's what the thing I like about our Discord what I enjoy about it is there's nothing hidden behind paywalls. And we're trashing one who has paywalls. It is an open community. It's a lot of fun. Technically, there's a Patreon channel, but we don't hide any of our content behind it. And it is just an absolute blast. Everyone's on there. It's fun. There's a cool community. People trade models, stuff like that. Anyone's allowed to advertise anything. You can go on there with different teams and recruit players for your team. Advertise your business. We don't care. The Discord's there for the community. There's like a very 5 simple rules. And it's basically don't be racist, don't be sexist, be PG-13 because there's kids on there.
Be tall.
Don't be an asshole.
Be Tom.
Be tall like me. So
Be Tom.
Be Tom. There you go. But it's a thing. And one of the big things is I'd like to encourage people. One of my I've said this 100 million times, but my favorite way to play 40K is team events. Go on the Discord, look for people that are doing that. Especially, I want to kind of touch back to Kyle was talking about, what to do when my army isn't at the top or is doing very poorly. It's great when you play in teams because you can match up against the things that you can do well against, and every point counts. So I would definitely
let's take
push
these
that.
last few minutes to kind of talk about Votann a little bit and what those lists are doing to win, because that's kind of what we wanted to talk about if they're OP. So what are those lists doing to win right now, Brad?
They are basically now they're not trying to bad trade. That's the one thing that Votann's poor against because they don't have a lot of trash. So you have to you're super good at killing. You have to set up. And you got to take those angles and take things away from people. You're amazing at killing other people's trash too. You have a huge volume of shots, and you've got a good amount of tank killing shots. So they need to clear out the nonsense and basically don't get caught up in bad trading. Sometimes.
Also, one thing they can do as well is, even though Crowley doesn't agree to this, the army has a lot of durability when it's played right. They're one of the few armies that if you can cut some angles off and just take some of the hits, you can still stand tall and shoot back and do good damage. You can't take like no one in this game can take like a full hit and survive, right? From arm, it just doesn't work. But you cut the right angles and just take some of the hits. You put yourself in a
We need
position.
to address this, okay?
We're gonna hold on. We're gonna address the $2 super chat skill check of Brad. I thought you'd be taller. So you know what? So did I. I just got wider.
I don't agree. Brad is incredibly tall. You should meet him in person. You're gonna have to look up to be able to shake his hand. It's crazy.
Deceptively tall.
His special platinum boots on.
Especially if you're trying to go drink for drink with him, unless you're me, and then get on the floor, and then you'll definitely be looking up and thinking he's tall.
But no, honest answer is the problem with Votann is it's a very, very high skill cap army because you have to know how to trade effectively. And I don't want to encourage people that they're more durable than they look, because if you try to stat check the wrong things, you will just get aced, right?
Also,
and that's where reps comes in.
Just like Crowley said, it's a high skill cap army, which is why he doesn't understand how durable they
Oh,
are.
shots fired.
Sir, only one of us owns a Votann army, and as sure as I can't you.
I own them.
Whoa.
Whoa. Have they ever left the shelf after you
I have to
spent
own the
25
armies to have opinions
I own-
about armies?
I own 3,500 points of Votann. I bought them when they first came out, and then they got nerfed. I said, okay, you guys ain't leaving your
Yeah,
boxes.
I'm about to say, there you go. You don't own the army, sir. You own a bunch of box of plastic crack that will never get to see the light of actually a sprue
You know
getting
what?
cut.
I'm refuting these claims. I am super short, but I am goddamn it, I'm not 5'2".
He's at least
No,
5'3".
he's not 5'2". Brad is 5'6". When he's got his platform boots on, he's 5'8".
I'm gonna put those extra insoles in there.
Brad's so short that he calls
No,
my
that's a real
2-year-old
thing.
Uncle Wyatt.
This is really a story. Garrett, first time he meets me, we go out and he joins in. He goes with us. Literally, first time I've ever met the guy. We go out to eat and we're all sitting down, and it's a huge table. It's like 20 different people. We're all hanging out. We go to leave, and I stand up, and he goes, "Man, I thought you'd be taller." I'm like, "What the hell, man?"
Tom, are you going to Tampa?
No.
Damn.
No.
When is Tampa?
2 weeks from
2 weeks
now,
now.
the week of the 13th, I think.
I'll be at Michigan.
That's Michigan GT's the week before. We'll be in Cincinnati.
We'll be in Gem Hammer.
Oh, first super chat, $1.99 from Nathan. And it is the first super chat because there's a huge thing that says celebrate the first super chat from Nathan. Awesome sauce.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Well, I think he wants to do is kind of. I'd like to trade my bullets for your models. Best trade I do. That's the philosophy of towel, baby boy. I can tell you're a towel player right now. I approve.
Best trading. Pew pew. 100 nickels coming in with 99 cents. I wish you should have put 99 cents in euros. Yes.
Hunter Nichols coming in 99 cents. Just with a heart. We love you too, baby boy. Also, did you like the New
What do you got
Jersey
to
order
promote?
system?
Tom, what do you got to promote?
Rumble in the River. Basically MCM 2.0. If you guys haven't seen MCM, look on Reddit about it. This year we had some amazing trophies that went off the hook and got a lot of publicity for. We're doing those again. Beautiful venue. I think we have two of the best judges out there with both DeFrank and Mr. Horton himself. Very respectful, very, very pleasant to work with, very knowledgeable. Our train is fantastic. Brian saw the new thing we just ordered for our train. We ordered custom plexiglass with our logos. I'm sorry, they're not plexiglass. They're like just special plastic stuff. He's telling me that they're very flexible and you can't cock dice on them. It's pretty sweet. So we're upping our game up. We have getting a train fully converted to 10th edition for this GT. So we're excited about it. Beautiful venue, great players, amazing community. I think we have one of the best communities out there because our people are super friendly and a lot of fun. And there's no Stephen Crowley's there, so that's always a plus.
Okay, I guess I'm not coming to that one.
No, I'm just
Hey, same weekend as Rumble on the Rivers, Warzone Atlanta, where I'm welcome. So
you will be at our GT. I'm
hey, literally, if you go to Rumble on the Rivers and you see us, I demand that you come up and shake our hand and say hi. And if we take you out to drink with us afterwards, which you are more than welcome to do,
bring wine.
You bring wine. We will make sure that you have all the baby boys you can ever handle.
There's two things on that. If you see our crew hanging out, there's always like 30 of us bullshitting, having fun.
Hunter,
And you don't.
I can't
if you
take
don't-
insults from people who can't spell. Okay?
Oh, 100 with the $1.99 super chat. High skill cap. Not Crowley.
Not Crowley. 100%.
He
I
can't
want to say
spell.
no. If you see us hanging out,
There is
please
a
just come over and hang out with us.
100% chance I'm getting that shirt for you, man.
What,
Also,
not
if you
Crowley?
have
Yes.
hold on a minute, guys. Calm down for a second, boys. Like I said, if you see us, come hang out with us. If you are uncomfortable just approaching us, just get a chair and be near us because me and Brad will see you and we will drag you into our circle.
Gravitational pull.
What about you, Brian? You guys, anything you got to advertise coming up?
Of course, Du Bois GT is coming up in the end of November there on a nice long weekend. It's going to be an amazing time this year because I have just started converting everything over to 10th edition GW layouts myself. So we are going to
And
be...
we have those plexiglasses. To use.
I know we may or not, maybe not, may or may not be using them at both events.
Before we go, I do want to hit the $5 super chat from Anna and other things. The group will be easy to find. Look for the long-haired giant standing with them. That is true.
There we
It
go.
is
Miss
tall.
Anna.
Danny goes, hey, if
Speaking
I
of
wanted
which,
to loan Brad an
community-
army, how liable is to damage it? Got world leaders I want to see him run with. I've never broken a model.
No,
That
don't-
is an out and out lie.
Don't.
You shush your face. Kyle, I think that Kyle might have one of my favorite quotes of the day. DOG should sponsor players to travel to events. I don't know, maybe players named Kyle or people with the last name Treya. It's just a suggestion.
We can't sponsor people who are up by 30 points and then lose in round 5, Kyle.
Shots fired.
You wouldn't be
Boom.
there. What are you talking about?
Man, we're definitely gonna have to get more not crawly like buttons or something.
No. Listen, you guys are feeding my rage. I have to give you guys back what you deserve.
Ooh, also
For
somebody
those-
can somebody make me a good meme of not Crowley, please? Because I needed to be able to click that button during this.
Y'all are so mean to me.
Oh, dude,
For everyone
I
who's
can't
watching
wait
us
for
and new
Crowley to
to
be
the
wearing a not Crowley shirt.
Listen, for everyone who's watching us and is new to this channel, we talk like that to each other because we're friends. We're not actually being serious. I mean, none of us like Crowley. He's not our friend. But everyone else we talk to, totally cool with.
Y'all so mean. I swear to God.
So,
Man,
here's
Tom,
the
if you played half as well as you talk shit, you'd be number 1 in the world right now.
Nah, we'll never be able to play
Probably,
this.
here's the thing though. You know the reason that we love you so much is because you bring your son around and he's great.
I know, he's fantastic.
Rolling a Gilead, just kicking it live.
If you take one thing from the show tonight, everyone, community.
Community.
That's what we play this for. Never lose focus on that.
Everyone, Queens wave it.